Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of kind of my explanation of this channel. I'm going to go into kind of who inspired me to start doing this. There are a few people in my life, whether, people I personally know, I see on a regular basis, or people that I, online, and maybe even someone that I have never met. But there are a few people that I kind of want to thank who have inspired me in, their own way. I guess first off would be, my wife, who is here with me every day, who also, suffers from depression and anxiety issues. So, she has her own baggage, and so for her to also have to, I don't want to say deal, she wouldn't say she deals with it, but, she does. I'm extremely thankful to have someone who constantly supports me as a shoulder to lean on more than she knows. I'm not always the best at telling people thanks, especially her, because, I see her every day. So she doesn't get the credit she deserves. So that's why she gets to be first. Secondly, my parents. Both of them are very strong in their own ways, and I am definitely their child. Anyone who knows me and knows them knows that. I'm very hard-headed like my mom. I am very warm and compassionate like my dad. And a big reason for this is, for those that don't know, it's not something I really post about on Facebook, and not been great at talking about. My dad has cancer. I won't go into all that, but it recently has gotten worse. Just a little bit on that. He is staying in bed for about 23 hours a day. He's that worn out, that sore. So, we don't know where that's going to go. So, he's trying to be as strong as he can in, a position like that. And we're all trying to be equally as strong in our own ways. So, my parents are great people. I'm so thankful to have them in my life, and for all the things they've done for me and my family over the years. They have been just, they've went out of their way at times to help us out when, things were very dark and we didn't know, where they were going to go. And they've just been amazing. I wrote in my old, for those that don't know, I used to run a kind of film blog called the Indie Film Review. And I kind of wrote about my history with horror and, my love, where it kind of comes from, and they were a big inspiration on that, because they both like horror movies. And so, I started watching the first movie I can remember seeing, that was not, a Disney movie or, something like that, was Night of the Living Dead. And I'm pretty sure it was at my grandparents on my dad's side. They also were big horror films fans, and they just let me watch whatever I wanted. So that was awesome. Parents were a little more selective, but you know, I still, you know, when I get together with my parents, they live in Florida, I live in Indiana, in case you don't know that. And I went to visit them not that long ago, and, you know, we watched some horror movies when I was there. So, you know, I am eternally grateful for the things my parents have done and continue to do. Secondly, my buddy Joe, Joe Dillon, he is almost like a brother to me. We have inside jokes. We share the same love of a lot of things. He just lives, you know, 5 blocks from me. He's the part of the reason I moved back to my hometown, because he and his wife and their daughter, they actually have 2 children now, but they are like family to us. So, you know, the idea of moving so close to them was awesome. You know, it's been great getting to, you know, see them kind of anytime we want. You know, we can walk there if we want. Joe's a musician who doesn't play nearly as often as he should. I have told him before that he is my favorite artist. I love his music. It touches me in a way that, you know, any you know, well-known band out there, you know, has ever. He is so good, and look him up. There might even be some of his music on my channel. I forget if it's on this one or a different one, but he is so special to me. I hope he knows that. The next person that has really inspired me, and then I kind of want to thank, and I don't know that he knows this, is my friend Greg, who I'm doing What We Like with. Greg and I work together, and we worked together for a few years, but we just kind of started hanging out this past November. And I hate that we never really talked before that, but he has become one of my best friends. We, you know, hang out at work, you know, every night. We work Sunday through Thursday together, so we see each other all the time. We hang out on the weekends. My wife and his wife have, you know, started to become friends too. You know, we hang out with them sometimes when we can. And so, you know, we found out we have a love of, you know, video games and horror movies, and, you know, he's got me into wrestling. I never gave a shit about wrestling. I care less about it. And now I watch it on a weekly basis. So, you know, he's the reason I went to my first live wrestling event. He's the reason I saw my first pay-per-view. I saw 2 in one weekend. And that's also brought my wife and I closer together. It turned out that she was kind of secretly a huge wrestling fan. She just never mentioned it because she knew I didn't care for it, so she just bring it up. So, you know, because of him, he helped us out, you know. We click on so many things. We have such similar senses of humor. He makes me laugh more than anyone has ever made me laugh in my life. Just so funny, naturally. Just, God, you know, there are times when I think about things that he said, or things, kind of bits that we do back and forth, you know, that just, man, I just start laughing when I'm alone. And that's so helpful to have those moments, to be able to remember them. And he's a very special guy. I hope you guys get to see, that in our the videos on our other channel. Someone else I want to thank is an indie filmmaker. Some of you may know him. His name is Henrique Couto. He was the reason that I started doing the Snapchat stories about my depression. Henrique is a very hard worker and just a hell of a nice guy. He's someone I've never actually met, but we've talked. We're friends on Facebook, and we've talked on there, and we've talked through Snapchat. He is just an inspiration to me because he has his own issues, just like all of us. And I've thanked him, before, but I don't know. Something about, I don't even remember where it came from. Something he said, something he did, just one day, just like touched me in a way that I'm like, you know what, I can do this. I can start being more open, in a way that's easy for me. And so, I owe that guy something. If you're watching, thanks, dude. The next person is a guy who means a lot to me. I don't know if he knows how much he means to me, how much he has brought to my life in different ways. Some of you may know him. His name is Seaver, the Seavage. He's an indie filmmaker who's been making films for over 25 years. And I discovered his films years ago and just fell in love. They are comedy magic. He makes horror comedies, and his sense of humor and what he can get from his actors is untouchable. He makes films sometimes in 2 days. And man, the stuff he's put out, I know he doesn't love it all. He's very open about hating a lot of it. But, there have been times where I'm just having the worst day, and I throw on, one of his movies, and I just forget about what the dark things that are going on in my head for a while. And that's so nice to be able to have that. To have something that's special that can take you out of real life for a while. That's why we watch movies. That's why we play video games. That's why we enjoy sports. It's an escape, and that's not a bad thing. We need that. And if it helps, that's awesome. I started out as a fan of Chris's, and I didn't know him. I reached out to him for a project. We became friends on Facebook, and started talking, periodically here and there. And I very quickly I realized that I like this guy, not just as a filmmaker, but as a person. I could see, his sense of humor and his love of horror and the love of the 80s, and in his films. And I was like, I want to know this guy, not just his, I didn't want to just be a fan, and for a long time, that's what I was. I was a fan. But over the past few years, I've I've got to meet him, hang out with him in person, and we talk on a fairly regular basis. Sometimes he'll just drop me a random message, hey, what's up, Same, I try to do that too, and, I feel like at this point, I'm not just a fan anymore. That I've moved past that, and that's what I wanted, It's hard to make friends as an adult, and it's hard to say, hey, I want to be your friend, like we just, I don't know, it's awkward, especially when, he lives in Rochester, New York, and I live in Indiana. It's not like I can just, pop over at his house and stuff, but, I wish we lived closer. He's a dude that I would love to, just, help, in any way I could. I like to, see how he's doing from time to time. I know he's very open about his, depression and such, and frustration with film, and, he takes these breaks from making movies because of it. And, while I'm not a filmmaker, I could understand. Life is hard. And sometimes we have to step away from things and get a new perspective. And, he deserves more credit than he's ever gotten in his field. Some of his contemporaries, and people, who have been inspired by him have received more accolades than he has, and I don't think that's fair. He deserves so much more credit. He's brilliant. He really is. Just what an amazing guy. He is very special to me, in my life. I'll have to show it off sometime. I have a shelf dedicated to his films. That's all it is, I don't really know what else to say. He's brought so much to my life in ways that he doesn't know, and that I don't know how to tell him. Maybe he'll watch this, maybe he won't. But I love that guy. Just for, the things he's done, for listening, for entertaining me, just that alone, I owe him a lot. Maybe I should have saved him for last. Somebody else I want to thank is, I guess, kind of two people. I will put a link to these guys' YouTube channel. Two vloggers more. It's a husband and wife who do like weekly vlogs. They've done daily vlogs. They do unboxings, but something about those two. I don't know them very well at all. Actually, I don't know her at all. But Chris is a good guy, and he's one of those people that I wish lived closer, because I would love to hang out with him. But my wife and I started watching some of their videos, and we really enjoy them, and seeing them post their videos, their weekly videos, kind of made me want to do something like that. Kind of a look into. I used to not like YouTube, really, aside from music videos or, skits or something like that. But recently I found that I like kind of that inside look into people's lives. It's like reality TV, but actually real. These two are two very sweet and kind people, and I don't know. I kind of wanted to do something like that, where I let people in on my life. So, yeah, that their videos just started kind of getting the gears going, as to what I want to do with this channel. And it's not going to be the same as theirs. Mine will be, kind of different than that, but, just a look into my life. So, thanks you guys. The last person who really has made me want to do this is someone I've never met, someone I've never talked to, and I may never meet him. I'd like to thank him. It may seem weird. I don't know, how many of you. It's another YouTuber, pretty well known, Adam the Woo. I discovered him years ago and watched some of his videos, and then kind of almost forgot about him. I just kind of wasn't on YouTube for a while. I kind of actually actively didn't get on there. I had a hard time. I can't binge watch TV shows the way people do, with Netflix and Hulu and stuff. I just can't sit for much longer than an hour and a half watching something. And I would have friends that would sit and just watch YouTube, video after video after video. And there was a guy I used to hang out with who just constantly had to show me YouTube videos, and it just I just couldn't do it. Maybe it's something to do with my anxiety. I don't know. But so I kind of swore off almost YouTube for a long time, unless I was wanting to listen to some music or watch a video or something. There was a new trailer out. But last Christmas, I discovered a guy who's originally from Indiana. His name is the Carpetbagger. He's a YouTuber who goes to a bunch of different places, roadside attractions, abandoned places, amusement parks, that sort of thing. And I really liked his stuff. And Adam was in a video of his. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I totally forgot about his channel. And so I spent a lot of time over Christmas break watching both of their videos. They both had a lot I had to catch up on. And I started going back and watching Adam's old stuff. He had, for those that don't know, he has two different channels. One is kind of an adventure channel where it's him going different places. He goes to filming locations and Disneyland and other music parks, and he does kind of a similar thing. Just he goes to some abandoned places and roadside attractions. But he had a channel, still has it, called The Daily Woo, and he would film a vlog every day. He traveled around the world. He lived out of a van for some time, quite some time. Eventually got an RV, traveled across the country in that. And he's very candid about certain things. I actually wish, my favorite videos of him are when it's just him, talking about his van, or talking about the RV, or, kind of addressing his life, or when his parents are on, and his sister. When you get to see that personal side of him. He's a dude that I would love to just sit down, even for just a half an hour, sit down, have a cup of coffee, and just, man, that's, he, I really don't know what to say or how to explain how he's inspired me. I guess it's just the fact that he just does it, you know. This is his job, you know, just being himself, traveling places, and a lot of times being alone. And, you know, I'm sure he has his moments where, you know, he gets lonely, or, you know, whatever. He's talked before about how it's hard to keep relationships, and he'll go, you know, he'll be gone for, you know, months at a time, and when he goes to visit his friends again, you know, their lives are kind of the same. But he's had, you know, he's been on an adventure. You know, he's been across the country and seen all these places. And, like, that seems exciting to me. Like, I love that idea. When I was younger, that's kind of what I wanted to do with my life, was to travel and do that sort of thing, you know, before there was ever, you know, YouTube at all. Just kind of document it and see places. And I don't know, something about that guy. I was watching a video of his recently, and, you know, again, I had already been thinking about doing this anyways, and he said something about, basically, you know, that you have to kind of just do it. You know, you can't keep talking about, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. You just have to do it. And that's why I decided to do this tonight. You know, I was putting it off. I've been putting it off actually for a couple months now, if I'm being honest. I kept thinking, oh, I'll do it, you know, this weekend, I'll do it this weekend, or, you know, I work third shift. When I get home in the morning, my wife and my stepdaughter, you know, go to work, go to school, and I'm by myself. And I think, yeah, I'll do it, you know, when I get home from work. And now I'm tired now, I just want to relax, I want to watch, you know, a movie, watch a TV show, I want to play a video game, and I'll do it later. It's just an excuse. I just, you know, I don't know if it's that I didn't have the balls to do it, but in a way, I was afraid to do it. Because I don't want to, you know, seem vulnerable, and that's what I'm doing. And again, that's why I'm not editing these. I want you to see this. But, you know, when he said that, and this was in an older video, and it's not a newer one, it hit me. And tonight, when I was driving home from the store, I just got in my head, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this as soon as I get everything unpacked. I'm going to get set up, and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to edit it as soon as I'm done, and just get it out. So, that's what I'm going to do. They may be shitty, and no one may ever see them, but at least I did it. You know, that's that first step again. You know, I'm walking out of my comfort zone and opening myself up, and I'm going to continue to do that, and that's what this channel will be moving forward. It will be a lot of things. It'll be me. Sometimes it'll just be me driving around, and I'll just turn on the camera and just talk because something will be on my mind. It may be here, you know, in my, you know, my cave, just, you know, talking to the camera. It may be me with other people, you know, but I'm just going to do this whenever. I may even pop on, you know, live sometimes, and if, you know, the urge hits me, I may do it on Facebook, I may do it on here, you know, I don't know yet. I will probably create a Facebook page at some point for this, you know, if people seem interested, you know, and I hope you do. It's not about views, it's not about, you know, making money, anything like that. I'm not going to tell you to ring the bell and join the notification squad or, something stupid like that. Like, you can if you want. It's great. I would love it. But again, I'm doing this for me. And, I need to be productive in some way. And, that's what this is all about. But, there's other people I could thank. There's other people who have inspired me. And I will, I'll talk about that more later. And maybe I'll even talk to them about how they've inspired me. And maybe even some of these people that I've talked about, I will talk to them if I can get them to get on camera. But thanks, guys. If you watch this, I won't, shill out anything, but I will say that if you have any comments, leave them below. I know this is, rough around the edges, and it'll get better. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'm kind of an open book. I try to be, and I'm not always the best at responding to people because I don't leave comments on people's videos a lot of times because I don't want to. I don't know. A lot of people comment, and I either feel like I'm going to get lost in the crowd, or I'm going to say something that, type something that seems dumb. I don't always have the words to say what I'm thinking. In my head, I know exactly what I want to say. But then when I start to type it, I draw a blank. And so, if you feel that way, you can personally message me. In the last video, I gave out my email. It's diaryofaJunkie@gmail.com. I'll put it below in case you do. But thanks again, guys. I'm gonna go edit both these videos and get them up. So then I'm just gonna post them on Facebook, and I'll throw the links up on Facebook, and we'll see what happens. But if you made it if you made it through both these videos, thanks. I appreciate you. Bye.